Let me ask you something. Have you ever had the right answer in your mind but still followed the wrong one just because everyone else was doing it? Have you ever known what you believed but stayed quiet because standing out felt too dangerous? That fear, that silent pressure, that urge to blend in, that is the fear of being different, and it controls more lives than people realize. We like to think we are independent thinkers. We like to believe we choose our own paths. But the truth is, most humans are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of standing alone. Because deep inside the human mind is one ancient rule. If I don't belong, I'm not safe. Thousands of years ago, being rejected from the tribe meant death. No food, no protection, no shelter, no survival. So your brain learned something very early. Stay with the group or you're in danger. That instinct never left. It evolved into what we now call conformity. Not because people are stupid, but because the brain is wired to choose belonging over truth. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Picture a classroom. Students are writing a practical exam. One student knows the correct answer. He studied, he understands the process. But he looks around, and everyone else is writing something different, something wrong. Now his mind starts racing. What if I'm the only one? What if I fail alone? What if the teacher thinks I cheated? What if I look stupid? So even though he knows the truth, he erases it and copies the wrong answer. Not because he's dumb, but because being alone feels more dangerous than being wrong. That's the psychology of conformity. There are two forces at work inside your mind. One says, be accurate. The other says, be accepted. And when they clash, most people choose acceptance. Not because they're weak, but because the brain sees rejection as a threat. Your nervous system treats social judgment the same way it treats physical danger. Your heart speeds up, your body tightens, your thoughts become defensive. That's why being different feels scary, not logical. Now, let's go deeper. Humans don't just want to belong. They want to avoid something called negative evaluation. That's the fear of being judged, mocked, rejected, or excluded. You don't fear being different, you fear what people might do to you because of it. You fear being laughed at, being misunderstood, being isolated, being labeled, being seen as weird or not normal. So instead of expressing who you really are, you hide. You adjust your personality, you change your opinions, you censor your thoughts. Not because you're fake, but because your mind learned that safety comes from fitting in. Now think about this. Why do so many people dress the same, talk the same, think the same? Not because they lack creativity, but because being unique without protection feels risky. Society teaches you very early, be yourself, but not too much. So people become afraid of their own differences. They don't just fear others being different, they fear their own uniqueness. And when someone doesn't fear being different, when someone stands alone, speaks the truth, lives differently, they don't just make others uncomfortable, they make others aware of the courage they don't have yet. That's why different people get attacked, mocked, gossiped about, not because they're wrong, but because they remind others of what they're suppressing. Here's the sad part. Many people don't even know who they are anymore. They know who they're supposed to be, who society wants them to be, who their family expects them to be, but not who they actually are. So when you ask them to be different, you're asking them to face themselves, and that's terrifying. Now, let's talk about insecurity. When people feel small inside, they need others to be the same, because difference feels like a threat to their identity. If I don't know who I am, and you are confident in who you are, then your difference exposes my confusion. So instead of learning from you, I reject you. That's where prejudice comes from. That's where bullying comes from. That's where hate comes from. Not strength, insecurity. Now, let me say something important. You don't fear being different because you're weak. You fear being different because you are human. Your brain evolved to survive in groups, but the world we live in now doesn't reward survival, it rewards authenticity. And that creates tension, because your instincts are ancient, but your life requires courage. That's why growth feels lonely. That's why change feels uncomfortable. That's why becoming who you're meant to be often means losing people who only loved the version of you that fit in. And that hurts. But here's the truth most people never realize. You don't find yourself by fitting in. You find yourself by standing out. The people who change the world are never the ones who copied the answers. They're the ones who wrote their own, even when everyone else said they were wrong. And yes, it's scary. It's lonely. It's uncomfortable. But so is staying stuck in a life that doesn't belong to you. So the next time you feel that pressure to shrink, to hide, to silence yourself, ask yourself, am I choosing safety or am I choosing truth? Because the fear of being different has kept millions of people from becoming who they were born to be. And the moment you stop trying to belong to everything is the moment you finally belong to yourself.